more. Joining me now is journalist Giles Ideho. It's good to have you join us. Good morning. Bloody clash yesterday, the bloodiest yet now by standards. What's your initial reaction now to yesterday's development? A journalist also fell.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me condole the family who lost that young man, a youth corper who, of course, had the world before him. But of course, these are the times we're living in. But I think the police or the security agencies ought to have anticipated that, because there were warnings by this group that because they knew that, he said, but for one of the things we said was they knew that government is always killing people. So they were not afraid of government. They were ready to be killed. Look at just about.
They knew that police would,
always kill. That's what he said. So he said what they were ready to be killed. Or he said the only way that they will ever sheath their guns in the manner of speaking was when their principal is released. As far as that man is kept incarcerated, that they will do everything possible to breach the peace. And that's exactly what they're doing. Look at barely about a fortnight ago, they even had the temerity to even confront the authorities and went straight to the 3 arms zone. The 3 arms zone is supposed to be the most, the tightest, if we talk about systems of security. But they went there, and then they were face to face with government. What happened? They tried it once, they tried second time, third time, look at what happened.
Charles, in your experience, covering things like this, I know you've been around for quite some time as a journalist. What is the procedure? Fine, we know that this is a very, very controversial group and they are desperate. But should the police in itself, how would you rate the action of the police? Talking about these bullets that were flying here and there.
Well, I think, first of all, it is failure of intelligence gathering. And the question you ask yourself is, how was it possible for not where 2 or 3 are gathered? We are talking about 3,000, no fewer than 3,000 men and women. They were able to plan this coordinated protest at the seat of power. That's in the central business district of the seat of power. They were able to plan this coordinated protest, and they carried it through. And then somebody is sitting at the head of DSS, somebody is sitting at the head of police. The question is that what happened to intelligence gathering? How were they able to do this and nobody was there? So I expected that they have even infiltrated by now, the authority ought to have infiltrated their ranks.
The argument about the legality or otherwise of police involvement in protests when they are legally supposed to be neutral is also being resurrected now. These protesters were walking, they were marching,
so we're told,
and then they got to a particular point. Is it the CBD district now? Yes. And that was where things turned right, for the worse. Should the police then have now, reviewed their tactics? Why accost this group? Why did they even have to, shoot at them? Couldn't they have, allowed them monitor things, prevent things from, going out of hand?
Well, first of all, the police, this is what we have come to live with. Police they are not supposed to bear arms, but what they're supposed to, I think, the rubber bullet and also. But again, when you are confronted by a group that has told you that even the man, that the principal, that you are holding the principal that is even in authority higher than the government. Because what they are saying is that they have allegiance to the government of Iran. So they are saying that the government of Nigeria, even the president, is inferior to the man being incarcerated. What do you expect the police to do?
But that can be. Should that wash? He's a constitutionally elected president.
That's because that's what you believe. That's what you believe.
Iran
but they don't believe so.
Also has a president, so one shouldn't be higher than the other.
Oh, but that's what the IMN members are saying. Because even following the 1979 Iranian revolution, he got enthroned, and then he went over there and he imported the Iranian type of Islam into this place. Even that was why he was even very vociferous against even the introduction of Sharia in some states in the north. What he's saying is that Sharia cannot work in selected areas unless you have a total declaration of Islamic administration in the whole of Nigeria before Sharia can work. This man we're talking about has been incarcerated this is the 12th time in incarceration. During Abacha's time, he was there for 2 times or so. So what they are saying is that, as far as we are concerned, that because of the belief that Islamic government that they are rooting for is supposed to be supreme, whatever government you have in place now is inferior to that government. Exactly. So right now, that's why they're saying that even the government of Nigeria is even inferior to the man incarcerated. Then when you're faced with such a group, what do you do?
Charles, let's just rest at this point. Now, of course, the discussion continues, but many thanks, Charles Ideho, for your insights.
Thank you.
Joining me now to discuss this is a journalist, Charles Ideho. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, you heard the PR of the police force, Frank Umba, his statement there. What do you make of it?
Well, I think he's self-indicted. He self-indicted himself and indicted the police. But he said that persons not bring over 3,000 gathered, and then they were able to mobilize. But how were they able to do that? Which is, of course, the failure on the part of the police. Because, as I said earlier when I was here, is that we knew, I mean, just not quite 2 weeks ago, these people were very heady, and they took the battle to the National Assembly.
Yeah.
That ought to have put the police on their toes to know that they could also spring even a bigger surprise at us, which of course they sprung. So I think it's self-indictment that his speech is a self-indictment, because when you look at how these people were able to gather, over 3,000 of them, they gathered, they planned, and a coordinated protest, and they were able to execute it right at the seat of power. Honestly speaking, I think the IG has a lot of questions to answer, honestly.
But in all of this now, what's have it that the protesters didn't have weapons, according to Grapevine?
Yes.
And so how would you rate the actions of the police in all of this?
Well, I think, again, which of course, we need to also, maybe a retraining. Retraining is very, very important, to retrain the police on how actually to handle protesters in a civil manner, okay? Yeah, there are times that you could be provoked, but you don't get provoked to the extent where you have to use live bullets. Because as we, even all over the world, live bullets are not allowed in anywhere where the police have to have, they now bear arms, having live bullets where they have to start shooting at the protesters. Unless it is where it is during war, but this is not a war situation. This is just a protest. So I think the police also failed in that aspect by allowing their men and officers to now start bearing arms and then ammunition that will have to start shooting at people who were demonstrating. No matter how much they were provoked, using live bullets was totally.
So what would the police have used if they were actually provoked? No,
first of all, what you need to do is that to make sure that the protest they didn't happen at all. That's why I said that intelligence gathering. If the police had been able to see the way they infiltrate their rank, they would have been able to anticipate that this was going to be the move. If they had anticipated the move, perhaps they would have been able to mitigate what took place yesterday, which of course is shameful on the part of the security agencies.
All right, journalist Charles Ideho, thank you very much for talking to us on this.
Thank you. Joining me now to talk about this developing story is journalist Charles Ideho. Hi, Charles. Talking about this looming crisis that we have on our hands now, there are unconfirmed reports now that the federal government is perusing options in dealing with IMN. Talks about proscribing the group. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, proscription of the group will be one leg of a two-legged race, if you will. Because when you proscribe, and they say, okay, let me liken it to the anthill colony. Anthill colony, when you destroy the anthill, give it another 3 or 4 days, they will rebuild because the queen is still alive. Alive, what I mean, still existing. As far as this man is still in custody, okay, and then you proscribe them, and they don't even subscribe to the laws of the land, there's no way it's going to work for this particular set that we're seeing, the IMN. Because they do not believe in the laws of Nigeria. You recall that when you cast your mind back to Zaria, that when Zaki was there, this set, it did seem as that they had their own government because they were not answerable to even the government of Kaduna State. So that was where the problem started, when you had their procession, the block road and everywhere. Was that not where they had this problem with the chief of army staff that led to this?
But what do you foresee now with all these casualties now? Do you indeed foresee the government, more or less, going back, reneging on his decision not to release El Zakzaki and his wife because of what he called security reasons, and even for El Zakzaki's safety?
Well, I think for a responsive government, we must first of all look at how we can have this obedience to the rule of law. The courts have said, release this man. Now you can release him, but the court does not say you cannot place him on house arrest. So first of all, release him from custody. You can curtail his movement. Then in that case, you can now have access to information that will help you to now put a stop to all these pockets of violence and then protests. So because as far as this man is still kept in custody, this group will become more emboldened. Nobody knows what they're going to do next.
This issue is wide. We've run out of time, but explain to me, or what's your understanding now? An IMN protest held in Lagos, in Kaduna, in Abuja, but then there are degrees now. This one was bloody.
That's right.
Is there something we are missing?
Yeah, there's something we're missing is that the security agencies are not proactive enough, because
so they were proactive in Lagos, or they allowed them to go about the protest?
The previous ones ought to have taught them to be more proactive. You never can anticipate what they're going to do, because all you need to do is to infiltrate their ranks so that you have access to very vital information about what they're planning next.
But then that's also what the IMN is saying now. Yes. Their ranks have been infiltrated. Yes. Those people who handle the guns, as the police allege, are not actually Shiites, but police officers.
This could be likened to a type of war. During war, anybody can use propaganda to win public sympathy to their side. But I don't think the police, the way Nigerian police is constituted, will now start taking and be destroying public property. No, I think they're just trying to gain public sympathy. I don't think that's the case. Even if
they could have been armed indeed. The Shiites could have been armed indeed.
They could have been. If it was true that the ranks have been infiltrated by the federal authorities, then they would have been able to nip this in the bud. But it didn't at all. It didn't.
Charles Ideho, thanks again for your insights.
Thank you.